Today's training video is about the new Skin 50 Plus. This is our 4-canister small model that has a very powerful motor. It actually has between 22 and 23 inches per mercury. So you have enough performance to treat very targeted, very specific targeted areas, as well as doing a very general, nice, smooth, and flawless microdermabrasion. So when you receive your machine, you will have a packing list. Please review your packing list. We have everything you need to start performing your microdermabrasion treatments. Everything about this machine has been tested properly and retested because of our ISO certification. So please review. Within your packing list, you'll see that you'll have a blue handpiece. The blue handpiece is a 4-port ceramic tip, and this gives you a very general, flawless finish with the flow of aluminum oxides with your crystal application. So this can be used on all skin types and colors. And how we're going to adjust with using the blue handpiece we'll discuss in just a few minutes. You'll also receive a red handpiece. The red handpiece has a single port. This means that it's very target specific. So if you're treating acne scarring, stretch marks, deep wrinkles, or fine lines, you're able to be very specific to those areas for correction. So the red handpiece has a single port. It is very powerful, and you have the ability of adjusting the vacuum so that you, again, can work on very targeted areas. The red handpiece and the blue handpiece are for the aluminum oxides. And now we are transitioning to the yellow handpiece. The yellow handpiece is for organic grains only. This is a very specific, we manufacture all of our handpieces and we design them for a particular purpose. The yellow handpiece has a large one single port hole, and this means that it has more jet action. So it's almost like jet washing your house. It pulsates the organic grains to exfoliate by roughing up the dead skin cells, removing them without additional inflammation or trauma. So this is very important when you're working with sensitive skin or when you're working with very dark skin complexions, or if you're working with melasma, chloasma, certain pigmentations that have an inflammatory response when exposed to sun. The yellow handpiece still has very good indirect responses to the functionality of the skin. But on the surface, as you know, as estheticians, we know the darker the skin, the more sensitive the skin. So it does exfoliate by pulsation and really emission of the organic grains to rough up the dead skin cells for removal. So this is only used for the organic grains when working with sensitive skin or darker skin complexions. Therefore, it doesn't cause an unnecessary depth of inflammation, which is very important when you're treating a variation of pigmentations. Okay, now that we've gone over the hand pieces, then let's talk about machine installation. So let's go to your machine and let's look at the little black rings to the machine. You have 4 of them. We are just called these fittings, okay? You have 4 fittings for the hand pieces, for the hand piece hoses. So when you're looking at your machine, you always want black out. So we're going to take the black hose and put it on the outside, and we're going to start with a general microdermabrasion, okay? So we're going to use the blue handpiece for this demonstration of machine installation. The clear hose goes on the inside. So you have black out and clear in, all right? Now let's say you want to transition to the red handpiece and you want to remove your hoses. This is very important because we don't want you to disrupt the fitting around the hose. Now if you look at the black ring, you're going to see that it has teeth on the inside. So what we want to do is take our finger and thumb and actually press in and use our other hand to pull out. Okay? So it has a little push. I know it's not going to feel like it is a complete push, but it's just enough to open up the teeth within the fitting so that the hose can be removed. So we're going to take, again, the clear hose, the black ring, we want to push in and pull out. It's just that simple. Please understand, when you put your hoses into the fittings, black is out, and you want to give it a good push and make sure that it connects. And you can do a little tug to make sure that it is connected. And use the clear hose on the inside, give it a little tug and make sure it's connected. And then you want to make sure your disposable tip is on your handpiece. And please note that your disposable tips are a single use only. Okay, so you must, Skin for Life's philosophy is that we also manufacture these disposable tips, and we've manufactured them for a single use. It's good sanitation, good sterilization. It's not going to interrupt. When you receive your packing list, you'll see that you'll have a bag of 50 tips that you can start working. So everything is disposable. We try to make it as disposable as possible for the safety of your client. Okay, as we just fitted the blue handpiece to the aluminum oxides, the crystal side, but now we need to do the same with the yellow handpiece for the organics, the organic grains. So again, just like we did, black is out, clear is in, we're going to repeat that on the other side. So the black hose is going to go on the outside, and again, give it a good push. And it's okay to give it a good tug so that you make sure that you're completely connected. Take your clear hose, and again, on the inside, you're going to give it again a little push and make sure that it's completely connected. With the yellow handpiece, remember, it's very important that you remember that it is only for the organic grains. All right, another setup that you will have to do is you're going to be looking at two canisters. You have the front of each side is the clean material, the aluminum oxides, and the other side is the organic grains. The back canisters are for waste. So let's talk about the waste first, and then we'll go into the filling of the material. So in the back, you're going to have two filters. So you want to unthread, okay? And you'll have a gray foam filter, and then you'll have a light blue hard filter. It's called an LT filter. This filter is very important for the internal component of the machine. The LT filter gives you about 10 to 20 treatments depending on how well you maintain the gray foam filter. So this LT filter protects the life of the internal HEPA filter. And when you do not maintain this, you will compromise the performance of your machine. So it is important that you change this after every 10 to 20 treatments, depending on how often you use your microdermabrasion, how many clients you see per day, and how often, and what you're supposed to do with the gray foam filter is clean it after every client. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But please first note that the light blue filter, which is your LT filter, is a very important part of how well your performance of your machine will give you each and every time you use it, okay? Now the gray foam filter is the protection for the blue filter. And with the gray foam filter, as I said before, you need to clean it after every client. In your packing list, you will see that you have a compressed air can. Just don't use it up and never replace it. Please call us when you have used all of your compressed air can, or you can go to another hardware store and buy compressed air. So it is very important that you keep this on hand to clean your gray foam filter. Okay, before cleaning your gray foam filter, please wear gloves. It is very important. You've taken off the waste canister, you've emptied into how your state regulations want you to dispose of waste aluminum oxide crystals after microdermabrasion. So you've already have your LT filter on securely, and now we need to clean the gray foam filter. And it's very important that you wear gloves. So you have your compressed air can. All you need to do is do not shake it. Just point it at over a waste canister. Point it at the gray foam. This is not good. You want to have at least this much space between, I would say, 2 to 3 inches away from the gray foam. Because remember, this gets very cold and it will freeze the gray foam filter, which will cause moisture, and that's not good for your machine. So hold back about, I would say, 3 inches and just dust it. And get as much crystals as you can out of the gray foam filter. So therefore, remember, it is the protection for the LT filter. You must discard the gray foam filter after 10 treatments. You will receive in your packing list 10 gray foam filters, which equate to 100 treatments. It is important that you just do not keep using it or wash them. We do not recommend that you wash your gray foam filters. Again, moisture can hurt how this LT filter can prevent anything from the internal filter. So do not wash the gray foam filters. You must spray them as we did with the compressed air. After 10 treatments, discard them and put on a new gray foam filter. It is important that you perform these steps. There's absolutely nothing that can go wrong with this machine other than poor maintenance. And this is why this video is so important to you, because I want to demonstrate that you can replace the LT filter after 10 to 20 treatments, and this depends on how well that you clean the gray foam filter after every treatment. And when you're ready to apply it, you're going to put it over the LT filter. And again, it's not like this. You don't just push it up. It needs to protect the whole length of the LT filter. And then you're good to go. After you've emptied out your waste, again, I'm wearing gloves. I am going to thread it onto the wing of the machine. This is what this is called. We call it a wing. And once you have it threaded, make sure that it's tight so that the machine has a closed loop system when it is on. Okay, now that we've cleaned our waste canister with the 2 filters, now I'm going to go ahead and fill the aluminum oxides. Now, please understand, everything that I'm doing on one side, you would repeat it on the other side for the organic grains. The steps are no different. All right, if you've used the organic grains, you're going to complete the same steps I'm showing you here today. So on the front of your machine, this is your clean canister. You have a bottle stopper. All right, this makes a complete seal. So again, when the machine is running, you have a closed loop system. The performance of the machine is not impaired or compromised. So with the bottle stopper, you want to put it directly in the hole of where you fill for your crystals, and take your middle finger and your pointer finger and push down on the bottle stopper. Now, you will see that there's 3 lines you want them to face you, okay? The 3 lines are facing you. So the 3 lines you're going to be pushing down away from you, and it will secure, and it will completely secure the fitting for the bottle stopper to the clean canister. Okay, so with the crystals and the organic grains, in your packing list, you will see that you'll have a complete full bottle of aluminum oxides, okay? And you'll have a complete full bottle of the organic grains. This gives you between 32 to 36 treatments. So you'll have enough supplies for about that much for treatments if you're using about 2 ounces each, okay? So with this being said, with the bottle stopper, this is where you're going to fill, because this has a little pop up, and so you can just fill the crystals to about 2/3 full. You do not want to go beyond that, all right? Because you need the proper agitation, and the sipper tube is what grabs the crystals and brings it up and therefore goes through the handpiece. So you want to make sure that you have enough crystals in there, but again, your maximum fill point is 2/3 full. All right, now let's talk about the crystal, the canister. So I'm going to remove, and this is for troubleshooting only. If you feel that your the amount of crystals going through your handpiece is impaired or compromised in any way, in your maintenance kit within your packing list, you will see that you have a wire tool and you have like a little brush. So these are important because this will kind of clean up around the sipper tube, which is the tube piping with the little, I call it like a little Tootsie Roll at the end. And then you have the agitator, which pulsates the crystal, so therefore it goes through the sipper tube very nicely and easily and flawless. So if you think that the crystal going through the handpiece is not working well for you, then this is a troubleshooting. You should never have this problem, because if you do have this kind of concern, it's due to probably your filters, you're not cleaning your filters properly. In other words, your gray foam filter may have not been cleaned after every client, or the LT filter has been on the machine way too long, okay? But for troubleshooting purposes, I like to show this. I might do this once a month, okay? But it's just a good troubleshooting. So because of the electrons and the friction that happens when it's agitating the material and it's going through the sipper tube, what we have developed is a little hole within that little tube, and you can take the wire tool, and you don't have to push in far, but you want to wiggle it around. So therefore, anything that has solidified or has, because of the friction of the component of the electrons pushing the aluminum oxides together, it will break them up. So again, it's in the front, and you'll see like a little hole, and you'll just kind of wiggle this around so that you can break up whatever's within that tube. All right? The brush is good for when you want to really make sure that the stems of the sipper tube and the agitator are clean. Again, you don't have to do this every single time, but it's a good idea, especially if you are done for the week and you want your machine to rest. Now you can empty your crystals and go ahead and dust off your sipper tube and agitator and just put on clean canisters. Now within your packing list, you will also receive 2 extra clean canisters. You can use those, and the lids that come on those canisters, you can go ahead and put them on the crystals that are the clean material, and then use your empty canisters just to clean everything and then put them back on before you go for the end of the week. Okay, so it's totally up to you. If the crystals are in here over the weekend, it's not a big deal, but I'm just letting you know that you have 2 extra clean canisters that you can change out if you want to just clean the machine a little bit at the end of the week. Put the empty canisters on, cap off the clean material, and you're good to go for the end of the week. And when you come back, you'll just have to, again, put the aluminum oxides on. Be very careful when you put the aluminum oxides, the canister, on this way, because it is full, and you want to make sure that you do not bend the sipper tube or the agitator, okay? And you want to make sure that it's completely tight. Again, this is something that you're going to perform the same steps on the other side with the organic grains. It's no different, all right? So with this being said, we have a clean filter on, especially at the end of the week when you're done with your work week. It's completely clean. When you come in the next Monday or Tuesday, you're able to just put on the clean aluminum oxides or organic grains and start working, okay? Because everything has been cleaned. And maintain them after. Remember, the foam filter needs to be maintained after every client. You need to use the compressed air to blow out that gray foam filter so it's clean and it protects the LT filter. Okay, so again, as I said before, this is the organic side of the Nu Skin 50 Plus. So you have the back canister, the back wing, with the two filters, the gray foam filter and the LT filter. And then in the front, you have the same bottle stopper as the aluminum oxides front canister, and you have the organic grains. So the organic grains, again, is for darker skin complexions, for sensitive skin. It has a very fine material. So it's there for like jet washing the skin as far as breaking up the dead skin cells by proliferating, by basically blasting them in order to exfoliate. However, remember, it is not a type of material that will cause unnecessary inflammation or unnecessary trauma, because it is very gentle. It is there for a surface action, however, still communicating with the functionality of the skin. All right, in the back of your machine, on the back of your machine, you will have a master switch. This is your master switch that turns on all the transformers to the machine. Now, we actually give you in your packing list 2 extra fuses, and this is important because sometimes, you remember, our company is in Florida and we do get a lot of lightning in certain seasons of the year. So with that being said, we automatically give additional 2 fuses in case something happens to your electrical system where the machine or the outlet has been impaired or compromised in some way, and it just basically blows. You know, a fuse blows in your spa, salon, whatever the case is. So we try to prepare you for the exchange of fuses. Now, you can purchase these fuses from a hardware store. No big deal, all right? We try to make it as universal of a piece of equipment as possible, all right? So they're universally, you can go get them at a hardware store. So I would like to show you how to change them. In your master switch right back here, if you look on the very top above the on and off button, you'll have like a little indentation. And this little indentation, you can take like a pin, all right? I'm going to show you by just using a pin. You want to insert it into the indentation and basically pop it. And this way, on either side of the on and off switch, you will see fuses. So you can just pop them out, okay? And you just change them. So it's that simple. So those 2 fuses, please keep track of everything on your packing list. It is important that you maintain that packing list as far as the items on it, because a lot of things that we give to you are extra so that you'll have it when you need it, okay? So you have to also remember that there's arrows telling you exactly how the arrows should go in. So please look at the arrows at the bottom of the opening, and you'll be able to insert it properly and then close the little framework and you're good to go. Notice I do not have the plug in. The plug is out, all right? Don't try to do this with the plug in. So make sure that you take out your power cord and go ahead and perform that task. Remember, 0 is off and the I mark, when it's in, it's on. With the Nu Skin 50 Plus comes 2 LED light hand pieces, red and blue. The power switch is on the back of the machine along with the 2 fittings, okay, the 2 inserts. So with your LED hand pieces, you have the power cord. So remember that the 5 pins are always down when you insert them into the actual port, okay? So you're going to have them down and insert, down and insert, and you're good to go. Again, once you plug in the power cords to the ports, they're in the back of the machine for the LED light. So now you get to use the power switch on the very bottom of the ports and turn on. So this is where you want to insert your power cords and your power switches in the back of the Nu Skin 50 Plus. This machine automatically comes with LED light. One thing about the red handpiece is your primary handpiece. You'll notice that you have 5 invisible lights that surround the center portion of the handpiece. Those are infrared. So with this, you not only have red LED light, but you also have infrared, which is very important for cellular mitosis, cellular growth, and maintains that stimulation with the ATP energy within your cells. So the red handpiece is always first. It doesn't matter what skin you're working on, whether it's acne or sun damage or sensitive, it is always your first interaction, your communication with your cellular responses. The blue handpiece, again, has the 5 invisible lights. That is your infrared. And with the blue handpiece, this is for oily and acne skin only. So just remember that. Your red handpiece is first. If you're working with oily and acne skin, then you'll use your blue handpiece. The red handpiece must be on the skin at minimal 10 minutes so that you can move around the handpiece, overlapping 50% as you move along. So 10 minutes, and you can do the additional 5 minutes when you're working with oily and acne skin, 5 to 10 extra minutes. So just keep that in mind when you're booking your appointments or scheduling your appointments for your clients. Also, with the red handpiece and with the blue handpiece, to keep them clean, you can use like a sanding wipe in between clients so that you can sanitize and be ready for the next client when they walk through the door. Okay? It's all about being very safe for your client and your client feeling safe. All right, now that we've gone over pretty much the installation of the machine, now I want to show you how to work the machine. So for the microdermabrasion portion of this machine, when you're looking at the front of your machine, you'll see that you have an on and off switch. So that's good. Remember, your master switch on the back of the machine must be on. So it's the IN to make it power up, okay, for the whole transformer of the machine. So with the front of the machine, you have your on and off switch, like I said, and then in the middle of your machine, you have your vacuum flow. What's beautiful about Skin for Life manufacturing microdermabrasion machines is that we can control how we want an esthetician to experience not only just one specific part of a microdermabrasion, but a broadness of what they can do for all of their clients, whether it's skin type or skin color. It's going to be a very big asset to your spa business. So with the front, you have the ability of adjusting the vacuum flow. Vacuum flow is very important, and I'm going to refer to my notes on the Fitzpatrick skin type scale. When you're looking at your manual, please don't just discard the manual. It's printed for you. And we're also going to have a lot of our manuals online so that you can click on and review them along with this video. So it's very important that you review page 9 because we talk about the Fitzpatrick skin scale. And when you're treating a lighter skin versus a darker skin, there is a particular vacuum setting. And you might have other contributing factors that will adjust that vacuum setting, such as the vascular state of the skin, with someone's sensitivity or redness or their capillaries being compromised in some way, either by sun or by medications or whatever the case is. So with that being said, you have the vascular state. You also, again, as we just got through saying, medications. There's going to be certain topical medications that you're going to have to maybe turn down the vacuum flow so that you do not cause unnecessary trauma to the skin. or hormonal challenges that one might have, that you might have to turn down the vacuum just because of different pigmentation variations that the skin may present. So with those three contributing factors, along with the adjustment of the vacuum per their Fitzpatrick skin type scale, that is what is very important for you to review and read on page 9. Now, as we update our manuals, the pages might differ. However, the information will be in your manual. So do not just discard it. As I said before, make sure that you review certain key pages that will keep you updated with how you need to perform with your microdermabrasion machine. So with this, you also have a selector switch in the middle. This will give you the option of either going towards the crystals to perform just with the crystal handpiece, whether it's the red or the blue, okay? Or you can go to the organics by switching the selector switch to the organic side, so you may perform with the yellow handpiece. Remember, yellow is only for organic grains. So that is your selector switch. Then you have your crystal and organic knob. This will give you the material that you need in order to perform either a mild exfoliation or a maximum exfoliation. Remember that the black line that goes straight up, that's what we consider 12 o'clock position. That is a totally opened valve. So you do not need to keep turning it. It's not a good idea. The way the valve is in the machine, the knob cannot be shut down to a particular point. So the 12 o'clock, when the black line is straight up, that is maximum material that will come through the hand pieces. So the 2 o'clock position or the 1 o'clock position will give you a mild flow of crystals. So what does this mean? If I'm at the 2 o'clock position, that means I'm going to have more vacuum stimulation and less crystal exfoliation, which means that you're maybe going to be working with the red handpiece better in this position so that you can treat more specific target areas. So this gives you the maximum at 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock will give you the minimal of crystals going through the handpiece. So when working with the crystals and the vacuum, we need to set the machine. Again, refer to page 9 in your manual for the Fitzpatrick skin scale. I'm a Fitzpatrick 2, so you will set your microdermabrasion between a 10 and a 12. That gives you general flow when you're working with the blue handpiece, all right? Your thumb will always be over the handpiece. This is very good, it's very good to know, because when you're just moving the vacuum around and not actually causing that closed loop system, there's no telling where the number will end up, okay? In order to set to a number properly, and each long hatch mark is a 1, you need to put your thumb over the handpiece, adjust your crystals first, which will be either at 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock, depending on what you're treating on that client, and then you will adjust the vacuum to where it's going to end up at 10 or 12. Once you do that, remember your thumb is over the handpiece when you're adjusting your crystals and your vacuum, okay? The crystals are going to affect the pressure of the vacuum, and the vacuum needs to be set while your thumb's over the handpiece, so when it's at a 10, it will not go beyond that point, all right? When you put your thumb over the handpiece, setting the vacuum brings it to that point. So when you're using that handpiece, the blue handpiece or the red handpiece, when you're putting it on the skin and performing with your microdermabrasion treatment, it will not go over that number. It is very important because when you're working with different types of skin on the Fitzpatrick skin scale, it is important to know their inflammation rate as far as working with a Fitzpatrick 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? Because when you work into a Fitzpatrick 5 and 6, is going to be between a 6 and an 8 on the vacuum. Because again, we need more surface exfoliation without unnecessary trauma or dermal inflammation that that skin can particularly have and have adverse results from that, okay? So just remember that thumb is over the handpiece. Adjust your crystals first, and then adjust your vacuum to the page 9 to get you going. This is your first application or initial response with working with this machine. So we try to give you a guide. But remember, those numbers on page 9 for your Fitzpatrick skin type is not concrete. You also need to take in the variance of the conditions that your client's skin is in, whether it's at a vascular state, or if they're taking certain medications that would make them more hypersensitive, or they have hormonal challenges, again, that will bring their skin to more of a heightened response. So keep all of that in mind when you're adjusting your vacuum. The vacuum can be your best friend, but it can also be your worst enemy. So it's always a good point to really review your manual in its entirety. Take the time, okay? And then begin with your microdermabrasion treatment. Remember, as we're adjusting the vacuuming crystals on the crystal side, you will perform the same operation on the organic side using the yellow handpiece only. It's very important that you only use the yellow handpiece because it is designed for pulsation purposes for the light material that the organic grains has. So again, performing the same operation, thumb over the handpiece, adjust your organic grains to either the 12 o'clock position, which is fully open, or you're going to either the 1 or the 2 o'clock position for minimal organic grain flow, okay? So 12 o'clock is open for maximum organic grain flow, or 2 o'clock position for minimal organic grain flow. Then you're able to adjust your vacuum to that sweet number of working with the skin type scale, the Fitzpatrick skin type scale on page 9. So again, review that manual, all right? And it has very good information for you. And this way you'll be able to perform a microdermabrasion proficiently, effectively, and the results will be immediate for your client. So take time and review. I'm going to now tell you certain pages that I want you to review. Please review in your Nu Skin 50 Plus manual the contraindications and precautions on page 5. Again, as we update the manuals, pages might change, but just remember the titles that I want you to review in your manual. Contraindications and precautions, it's on page 5. Your setup instructions, which is on page 6. Your machine installation, which we pretty much went over everything within this video, so you're good. If you just watch and really take notes and review your manual, you'll be good. The machine installations, page 7 and 8, it talks about the filters, it talks about the clean canister, the master switch, all of that you'll need to review. And then again, I know we've said it many times, but your Fitzpatrick skin scale on page 9, so you know how to perform and set the machine properly for those particular skin types. Your maintenance is extremely important, okay? We do not want to get phone calls because your machine is not working properly because of poor maintenance. It's a costly thing. You need to remember that really keep a schedule for when you need to change out your filters, and keep a schedule on who does what, okay? We want every esthetician in your practice, or if you're a private esthetician that has a solo practice, maintain a complete maintenance schedule. Also, you have consent forms, sample consent forms. We're here, if this is something that you like, those are on page 16. And you have, if you want your logo on them or anything like that, just give us a call, okay? And we can design it as far as create that consent form with your logo on it, not a problem, all right? LED lights, because the Nu Skin 50 Plus comes with LED lights, please review the consent form on page 18 and 19. And the face directions. When performing with microdermabrasion, there are proper directions. Now, I know movement techniques are going to be very subjective, but with Skin for Life, we do give you pages that you can look at for particular directions of how you need to perform with each handpiece. It is very important that you review page 20 through 22. It will give you the first pass application and the second pass application and target area application. So it's very important that you review that if you're new to microdermabrasion, or if you want to look for more advanced directional strokes. This will be a good time to do that and review your manual on pages 20 through 22. So as far as everything about this machine, it's a very powerful machine. Like I say, it gives you between 22, 23 inches per mercury. And how you can actually see this working is that you can turn on your machine and you can put the vacuum flow to the right, because that closes the system, and you can read the motor performance to this machine. So it will read between a 22 and 23 plus or minus 1. And so this will tell you exactly that your motor is working proficiently and efficiently with how you're maintaining the maintenance of the machine. So it is very important that, again, you always, and you want to open up the vacuum flow so that you can release the air within the tubing of the machine, so that it will bring you back down to 0 very quickly. But your selector switch needs to be either on the right side of the machine for crystals, or the left side of the machine for organic grains. Yellow is for organic grains. Your red and blue handpiece are for aluminum oxides. So this is a pretty good detailed video on how you need to set up your machine, but also how to function with your machine as far as performing a really good microdermabrasion. Also, a quick note, when you're performing with microdermabrasion, look at the entirety of the skin and what you need to do as far as correction and actually performing an even exfoliation. You might adjust your vacuum twice or even 3 times during the treatment of performing with the microdermabrasion, because everyone's going to have more of a vascular area around the middle part of the face, so where your capillaries are more excited. Whether you're working in areas that are very lined or very wrinkled, your vacuum setting might be different for those particular areas. So it's okay to intermittently change the vacuum to the areas that you're trying to treat on your client. And that's how you achieve immediate results after each treatment, and how you want to add other modalities or other products to your microdermabrasion treatment. So again, I think this is a good detailed video, and if you have any questions at any time, we are here to assist you. We still want you to call us for your online training, but with this video, it gives you a good stepping stone to setting up your equipment, being able to perform your equipment, and reading your manual properly so that you'll have all the key components in order to perform with your microdermabrasion machine and maintain it. So with that, please let us know if we may assist you. We are here. We have 3 estheticians on staff that have worked with the machine, that have been in the industry for a very long time. So we want to make sure that you are never without or any part of the microdermabrasion being impaired or compromised in any way where you cannot perform with it correctly and give a very good performance-driven treatment. So you can either go online and chat with us at skinforlife.com or give us a call, 866-312-7546. We are here for you And we are a collective staff that will pick up the phone, and you'll never have to worry about automation. You will always get someone to speak with, and that is very important to us. Customer service is extremely important to us. So let's stay connected, and I hope you enjoy your investment and the purchase of your Nu Skin 50 Plus. Please let us know if we can help you in any way. Thank you for your time with this training video, and we look forward to training you online.